Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
And I'm Pauline Verzosa.
Ayun,
Ako
joining
naman.
us again. Oo, joining. Thank you.
Okay
Welcome
lang.
back. Welcome back. It's a Friday, Buddha's Belly Day. Oh.
First Friday of 2025.
First Friday of 2025. So, nagkataon kasama natin si ano.
Buddha's Belly. Uy, first
Oo.
time ko rin na uupo for Angela habang nandito
Oo, kasi the
ako.
last time you were here,
Buddha's Belly.
it wasn't on a Friday. No?
It wasn't on a Friday. At lagi akong natatakam tuwing Friday dito sa brunch. So finally, matitikip
Ayan,
ko na yan.
mararanasan ni Pauline ng Buddha's Belly. Oy, thank you, Marjorie Tana, for sending over these goodies. I think this is yang chow fried rice, a dim sum platter, meron kakao.
Sarap.
And I think this is a beef stew or a beef soup, hindi ko alam.
Ayan, titikman natin mamaya.
Ako, sabi ni Doc Dex, New Year, New You dapat eh. No?
Oo nga,
Saka
no?
na,
Paano ba yun?
next week na lang.
Oo, next week na lang.
Next week na lang. Sige, we're serving you news in a countdown.
All that and more before your second cup of coffee. This is Brunch.
Let's start our countdown with firecracker-related injuries. An additional 194 firecracker-related injuries were recorded during the New Year festivities, bringing the total to 534 cases. The Department of Health said this figure is 9.8% lower compared to the same period last year. Of the 534 cases, 356 sustained skin burns, while 28 underwent amputations. Most of the injuries were caused by quitis, boga, 5-star, and whistle bombs. The DOH expects the number of cases to increase until the end of its monitoring period on January 6. Siya nakakairita dito pag nagro-roam ka around that Bulacan area, harap-harapan sa mga makikita mo sa kalye sa may police, they're selling whistle bombs. Parang naka-display pa, parang it's legal. It's not legal in some areas to
Yung mga paputok na yon. Tsaka ito
5-star whistle bomb.
Oo, yung quitis ba illegal din ba yun?
No, quitis pwede, pero may designated areas where pwede mo paputukin. And may mga designated or assigned people kung sino pwede magpaputok.
Oo. Pero yung nakakalungkot nga dito, 'di ba? This New Year celebration, halos puro mga bata or minors yung mga na-injure, and nakakalungkot kasi nga until now tumataas pa rin yung bilang 3 days into the New Year already. May
Yes,
nakita akong balita. Kaninang umaga lang sa Good Morning Kapatid, 10-year-old kid namatay.
Oh my. So, parang 2 deaths already? Confirm
Oo,
ba?
parang ganun. Oo, and actually one pa lang so far sa DOH ang confirmed.
Yung
pero
is this the vlogger?
this is a senior citizen.
Senior citizen, okay.
Yung vlogger, I think, ini-investigate pa nila before they officially include it in their tally.
Okay.
Pero kanina, binalita, 10-year-old na bata nga. At ano lang siya parang bystander. Parang hindi naman talaga siya yung
So he was not
paputok.
engaging in paputok.
Correct.
Oo.
At unfortunately nga, namatay yung...
Siya nakakairita. Somebody minding his own business, was following the law. May mga irresponsable sa kabilang part ng kalye siguro, nagpaputok ng quitis or whatever, Judas belt, may nadamay. Siya na sinasabi mo kahapon sa pinag-uusapan natin. Di ba? It's not only you na mapeperwisyo.
Correct.
Other people as well.
So, kailangan be responsible talaga, or if not, wag na lang magpaputok ng sarili. Pwede naman sumali sa mga community firework displays.
Manood na lang kayo.
Actually, nakita ko, natuwa nga si Sean Yao. Kwento niya, meron pala siya yung electric fireworks.
Yes, that simulates the
sound.
Somebody gave that to us already before. Parang in Judas belt, there's an electric Judas belt. Pipindutin mo lang.
Diba?
Oo.
So, it's not as entertaining, I guess, as
But
the real
safer.
fireworks, but it's safer and keeps your
Tsaka
loved
every
ones.
year ba, we have to go through this
Oo nga, taon-taon yan ang laman ng
reporting.
balita.
Kids getting their fingers blown off, paulit-ulit, di ba? Ay, naku, nakakapagod na eh.
Sana matuto na tayo. New Year resolution
Kaya
na
nga
yan.
the word New Year celebration. How do you celebrate without fingers or feet?
Oo nga.
Whatever.
Sabi nga nung isa, pinapa-A daw yung mga nasa ospital, pero hindi na
maka-A.
Maka-A sila kasi wala na palang daliri. Ayan na talaga yung
I saw,
A.
may mga memes nga naglabasan about that, yeah.
Pero of course, it's not a laughing matter naman also at the end of the day.
Oo.
And hopefully we'll be more responsible when it comes to use of firecrackers.
We have 1 more year to get it right.
Ayan. All right, let's move on with our countdown. Now on to our 9th story. Housing prices in the Philippines have declined for the first time in 3 years. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas reports that property prices in the country fell by 2.3% in the third quarter of 2024. This marks the first decline since 2021. The BSP attributed the drop to weaker demand and low-value transactions for certain property types such as duplex housing and condominium units. Meantime, property consultant David Lee Chu suggested that factors such as the pandemic may have contributed to the declining interest in value in properties targeted at the middle-income market.
The middle end of the market, which is a small piece of the equation by volume, is softening. It's softening because of a number of factors. One being the supply, because we've built a lot. The second thing is that because of COVID and the high interest rates and high inflation that we've been through in the last 5 years, the middle end market is really getting hurt now. It's like they're getting tired of this marathon of real estate.
Ayan. So yung pinaka-tinamaan daw talaga or the weaker prices, the drop,
Yes,
is in the middle end, sa mga condos. Pero sinabi ni David Lee Chu, in-explain niya, in terms of the high end naman or yung low end, stable pa rin yung prices.
Yes, stable siya. Kaya nga there's this phenomenon he was talking about na we should capitalize on it if you're looking at investing. Pero may fear yang ibang economists because parang it's akin or it's the same to the model of the US where the prices drop, the requirements are relaxed, approval process pinapadali nila, and then at the end of like 5 or 6 years, only a minority of them end up paying the actual loan.
Correct.
So nagko-collapse ang several businesses. That happened to the US several years ago, di ba? Yung mga financial institutions na bumagsak because of loans that aren't paid.
Ayun.
So pero kaya nga napakasimple, kung magte-take out ka ng loan, be sure kaya mo bayaran yung monthly.
Pero I think right now with the prices dropping, I guess it would be a better time, a more ideal time to invest, lalo na dun sa middle end market, diba? If tumitingin ng condos. Actually, personally ako, may mga minamataan na rin akong property, to get my first property as an adult, #adulting, diba? Merong ibang, dati talagang million yan, but now they slashed prices, so I think this is a good year to invest.
Yes, it's a good year because you see an appreciation of development. Since everything is cheap, if you get a condo daw in an area that's under development, sooner or later, magta-times 2, times 3 yung property value na kinuha mo. At saka ang style pa doon, while you're paying for it, if you don't wanna live in it yet, ipa-rent mo, yung rent, bayad mo na lang sa monthly.
Pero ngayon parang nahihirapan din yung ilang property owners to have their units rented naman dahil nga
people are looking to buy and people are looking for long-term solutions already.
Uy, pati naka-affect din daw yung POGOs kasi 'di ba umalis na yung mga POGO workers na yan. Usually sa Parañaque, 'di ba?
Parañaque, ang daming kumukuha ng units. Saka yung prices were jacked up and pinapakyaw pa rin ng mga workers.
Yes. So ngayon nagkakaroon ng correction sa market. And we'll see how that will play out. If this is just short-term or long-term na rin yung effects nitong pag-drop ng prices.
This year, maramdaman natin ang epekto ng pag-pull out ng POGO. If kaya mag-recover ang mga LG, kasi per LG yan If may mga BPO industries that are ramping up this year daw, well, let's see. Let's take a look. All right, let's move on. Next in our countdown, over 14,000 police officers and security personnel will be deployed to ensure safety during events related to the Feast of the Black Nazarene. According to NCRPO Director Brigadier General Anthony Aberin, the security force will consist of 12,168 police officers and 2,306 personnel from partner agencies. Aggressive anti-crime operations similar to those implemented during the holiday season will be placed to deter criminal activities. Meanwhile, Quiapo Church officials reported that around 100,000 devotees participated in the blessing of Black Nazarene replicas.
Taon-taon kasi yan lang po lagi yung ginagawa. Para at least mag-intay man ako kahit hanggang tanghali, abutin man ako rito, at least nandito ako sa kauna-unahan.
Talagang nag-ano na siya, nag-lock na to. So, namin, diniboto namin kay Poong Nazareno, binihisan po namin siya ng damit ng Poong Nazareno. Yung pagsubok namin sa buhay, wala yan, pagkasama po namin ng Poong Nazareno.
Kinikilala natin ang pagpapahayag ng pananampalataya ng ating mga deboto, ng ating mga mananampalataya kay Jesus Nazareno. Kinikilala rin natin ang ating mga balangays at mga hijos del Nazareno.
Yeah, and church officials were saying this is the first year that madi-decentralize yung celebration of the Nazarene. No longer daw called Black Nazarene. I think Jesus Nazareno or something. They're changing it.
Okay.
Tapos number 2, it's no longer a feast of the Quiapo Church. So now they're empowering churches all over the Philippines and diocese na to have to celebrate the Nazarene feast in their areas that is already counted as part of the ano. Ang effort daw nito is to try to make sure na, well, kung hindi mo kaya pumunta sa Quiapo during that feast, you're able to celebrate in your diocese.
In your own church.
In your own church, oo.
Actually, kahit hindi naman rin sumama yung ilang devotee sa traslasyon, yung pinaka-procession, you can always watch naman from the sidelines. Yung daddy ko, yun yung ginagawa actually every year. Siyempre, he's quite old already. Hindi na niya kaya sumama sa pinaka-procession. But he will wait sa parang sa anong boulevard yon yung
may holding area. Yes, cordon off.
So para lang
Rojas?
makita
Rojas
Boulevard.
Yeah.
So Rojas Boulevard para lang makita and to his faith, to show his faith.
Because a lot of mga kababayan natin are owing their success in life or recovery of sickness, diba? Miracles because of this, and then parang ang deal nila is every year they will participate. Diba? Several news personalities we know make it a point to be part of this.
Maakyat pa nga, diba?
Maakyat pa.
Ikaw, goal mo ba yun? Kaya pa ba? Parang gusto ko gawing bucket list yan
May high blood at gout ako.
Ay, hindi na ba?
But I'll make that part of my not bucket list but my list.
Your list na lang.
My list,
Alright, well, still on the Black Nazarene. The new year may have just begun, but scammers are already at it. This time, using the name of the Poong Nazareno. Mobile journalist Amy Atienza has that report.
Bagong taon pero meron pa ring mga scammer. Ngayon nga, ginagamit na rin para manloko ang pangalan ng Poong Nazareno. Ganito karami ang nagpupunta sa Minor Basilica and National Shrine of Jesus Nazarene sa Quiapo. May misa o wala, binibisita na ito ng libo-libong deboto, lalo na tuwing pista ng Jesus Nazareno. May ilan naman na nananatili na lang sa kanilang tahanan para magmisa online. Pero bukod sa pagsisimba, ang ilan ay pinipili pang mag-alay ng donasyon upang makatulong sa pangangailangan ng parokya. Ang kaso nga lang, may ilang peking mga account sa social media na nagpapanggap bilang opisyal na simbahan ng Jesus Nazareno.
Marami po sa YouTube ang talamak ng pangungopya, no? Ang ginagawa nila, yung mga lumang misa na ng Quiapo, dahil ito dati ay naka-live at recorded, kinukuha nila at ginagawa nila na ito daw ay live. At sa pamaraan na yon, humihingi sila ng mga donasyon gamit ang kanilang mga personal na GCash, personal na mga Maya account, at iba't ibang mga financial means channels to get funds and to get support and donations.
Ang ganitong panloloko, nagsulputan na raw noong nakaraang taon. Kaya abiso na rin ng simbahan na palaging antabayanan ang kanilang mga social media platform para maiwasan ang mascam. Bukod dyan, naging paalala rin ni Father Robert upang malaman kung legit ba ang donasyon na nagawa sa simbahan, humingi ng resibo.
Usually po ang ating GCash at ang ating Maya account ay nakapangalan sa ating Kura Paroko at Rector, Rufino Sescon Jr. So kung may mga ibang magpadala po sa inyo na iba ang pangalan, automatic po yon. Ito po ay hindi sa Quiapo Church.
Masakit man isipin na ultimo ang simbahan ay nagagamit para manloko ng kapwa. Lagi nating itatak sa ating isip na gumawa ng mabuti at mag-iingat saan man tayo magpunta. Mobile journalist Amy Atienza po, hatid ang muka ng balita.
New Year na, may mga nanloloko pa rin.
Naiirita ako sa ganyan at they capitalize on every single event. Oo, lahat ng event gagawa sila ng paraan na mag-scam.
Pati yung ganitong religious event, di ba? Hindi na...
Parang galit na galit tayo sa mga scammer na foreign nationals yung sa POGO, yung mga Chinese. And yet, yung mga kapwa Pinoy, they're the ones who come up with the most creative ways to scam other people.
Nako,
shame on you.
Tigil na natin yan, 2025 na. Ayan, but speaking of POGOs, coming up, the total POGO ban in the country officially took effect on January 1st. What's the latest on the government's crackdown?
And an alleged Chinese underwater drone was found in Masbate.
We are just getting started. We have more of our top 10 news when Brunch returns. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News.
Oy, welcome back mga brunchies. Thank you again sa Budas Belly for this yummy food. By the way, sila Migs Ebron daw and Ralph Domingo are happy daw na may Budas Belly na daw. Kahit hindi nila maamoy o matikman. Makita lang nila.
Mabango po siya.
Mabango
sa
po
mga curious po.
Could you imagine we're sitting right in front of it while working? Medyo
Gusto ko na talaga tumikim sana kanina pero mamaya na lang siguro.
Oy, pero Paulino, na serious note, no? There was a plane crash in California.
Oh yes, breaking news, no? Well, 2 have been reported killed and 18 were injured after a small plane crashed in California.
So it's Fullerton, no? Orange County. It says there yata, right beside Disneyland?
Parang near Disneyland. So it crashed through the roof actually, no? Near of a building near Fullerton Municipal Airport.
So 2 dead and 18 hurt. Diba, sinabi niya ni Coach Chua yesterday.
Johnson Chua.
Several plane crashes.
Oo, sabi niya kahit hindi pa, kasi ang Year of the Wooden Snake, magsa-start talaga yan, January 29.
Yes.
Pero you start to feel some of its
Effects already now.
effects as early as now.
Kasi we had that Korean crash and then there was another one sa KLM, Canada Air.
Correct.
And then now you have this. Diba? Nako.
Ni-warn niya, di ba? Sabi niya, 2025 may not be such a good year to travel.
Because of accidents.
So, kaya
hindi naman niya specify kung airplane, di ba? Basta travel. Baka may land travel.
Wag naman. Wag naman sana.
Basta mag-ingat lang tayo lahat.
Oo.
Ay,
Pero kahit
nako.
anong ingat kasi, no? You can't tell din pag nasa ere ka na.
Sa air, sa
hard to
sea,
control.
o sa land. Oo. Anyway, sige, let's move on.
Now going straight to our top 7, the Social Security System or SSS contribution hike. The SSS has implemented a 1% increase in member contributions. This raises the rate to 15% starting this month. Employers will shoulder 10% of the total contribution, while 5% will be deducted from employees' salaries. The adjustment was mandated by the 2018 Social Security Act, signed by former President Rodrigo Duterte, which aims to extend the fund's viability.
Sumusunod lang tayo sa batas, sa Republic Act 11199, nakasaad kasi doon yung schedule ng pagtaas ng contribution rate at saka monthly salary credits simula 2019 hanggang 2025. So itong increase na ito ay ang huli na, hanggang 2053 na ang fund life ng SSS. Kung hindi natin in-implement ang RA 11199, hanggang 2032 na lang.
So 21 years ang na-extend dahil sa increase na ito. Oo.
Pero yung increase actually, it's been happening gradually naman every year, di ba?
Every year.
Matagal na po yan. 2016 pa ata, sinay ni President Rodrigo Duterte, or 2018 rather, yung act na sinay ni or former President Rodrigo Duterte. And we are seeing its effects na nga ngayon, 15% na. It could possibly be a 1,000 to 2,000 peso increase per beneficiary.
Pero initially kasi they tried to move it back or lessen yung increase. Pero as explained kasi, when they studied it carefully, yun nga, yung lifespan ng pondo ng SSS, at talagang liliit at liliit every year. And yung capacity nila to pay out pensions baka maudlot daw. So, na-extend na tayo for 21 years more because of this increase. So, for the meantime, sabi niya, don't worry, wala muna after this.
Okay. Well, alam naman kasi natin, inflation, di ba? So, unavoidable din talaga yung mga
pero
increase.
Kung makita mo yung mga pension na natatanggap, it helps a lot, pero it's still really not enough. Mas lalo na sa mga those that need maintenance medicine, sa mga seniors natin, di ba? Talagang kulang pa. So let's see in the coming years kung ano pa ang mabibigay ng SSS. But in the meantime, let's move on to our next. On our sixth spot, President Ferdinand Marcos is scheduled to convene a full cabinet meeting on Tuesday, January 7. Meanwhile, the Department of Agriculture is set to launch 2 affordable and healthier rice varieties. Mobile journalist Julie Baisa has the report.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. will have a full cabinet meeting on Tuesday, January 7. According to the Presidential Communications Office, the agenda of the meeting includes legacy projects, such as big-ticket programs and official development assistance-funded projects. PCO also said that the President compared some notes with Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin in relation to the full cabinet meeting next week. Meantime, the Department of Agriculture will roll out 2 cheaper and healthier rice varieties for the public. DA spokesperson Assistant Secretary Arnel de Mesa said they will launch the Sulit Rice and Nutri Rice.
Itong Sulit Rice, nagkakahalaga ito ng 35 to 36 pesos kada kilo at ito yung tinatawag natin na 100% broken na bigas. Maganda pa naman yung quality. Ang kaibahan lang talaga nito ay broken itong bigas na to. Sinubukan na namin itong iluto rito sa opisina at maganda naman yung quality ng bigas na to.
While the Nutri Rice, which the Mesa describes as between well-milled and brown rice, will be sold from 37 pesos to 38 pesos per kilo.
Marami pang nutrients na natira ito. Tinatawag natin itong Nutri Rice. Marami pa itong fiber at vitamins and minerals. At ititinda naman ito sa halagang 37 to 38 pesos per kilo.
The Sulit Rice and the Nutri Rice will be available at the Kadiwa ng Pangulo centers across the country. De Mesa also said that the government plans to further increase the number of Kadiwa centers to 700 by March.
Sa ngayong target natin by March ay magkaroon na tayo ng 700 na Kadiwa ng Pangulo centers at inaasahan natin bago matapos ang 2028 ay nasa 1,500 ang total number ng Kadiwa ng Pangulo sites sa buong bansa.
The DA official assures the public that they will continue to bring down the rice prices and help the farmers. Mobile journalist Julie Baiza, We Are One News.
So malayo pa tayo dun sa 20 peso na bigas.
Umasa ka pa ba? Hindi na umasa.
Wag na ba?
Oo. Sabi nila, nangako na nga, umasa ka pa.
All right, let's continue with our countdown. Now on to our top 5 story. President Bongbong Marcos is being urged to delay the release of supposed budget pork until post-2025 elections. Former Senate President Franklin Drilon called on Marcos to classify Congress-introduced amendments in the 2025 budget as for later release or FLR. He said this will prevent public funds from being used for election purposes ahead of the 2025 polls. Drilon warned that the 2025 budget could be misused as an election tool. The FLR practice was used in previous administrations to ensure fund transparency.
Now let's discuss that further with former Senate President Franklin Drilon himself. Senator, good morning. Thank you again for joining us here on Brunch.
Good morning for having me today. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Yes, Senator, last time you spoke, you were saying that if you were going to write something about this budget, you'd write how to make your pork barrel or something to that effect. And now you're asking for this FLR mechanism because most especially now, it's election season. So how does the FLR mechanism really work in terms of transparency and holding those accountable?
Well, first, before I answer that, I must assert that this budget for the last 2 years is really full of pork barrel, and a new technique has been discovered how to fund this. Of course, this was started by the administration of Rodrigo Duterte. But having said that, my computation is that there is at least 731.4 billion in available funds in the 2024 and 2025 General Appropriations Act to find the pork barrel. Let me repeat that for emphasis. 731.4 billion is available in the 2024 and 2025 General Appropriations Act, which will fund the pork barrel. what are the items under the pork barrel, it is extremely difficult for us to figure out what it is because we do not have the staff to look at all of this. What we're just looking at is how much was transferred to the unprogrammed funds and programmed activities, so that those where there is a sure funding, it created a fiscal space or available funds where the pork barrel items can be inserted. I repeat, I do not know what these pork barrel items are.
Yes.
All that we know is that there are available funds. That is why I had proposed that in order to prevent the use of these pork barrel funds in 2025 election, they should be marked for later release. This is being done, this was done in the past, but it is especially necessary today because of the huge amount of pork barrel funds spread out all over the General Appropriations Act. And we do not know where these are. All that we know is that there were available 731.4 billion in funds for which can fund the pork barrel. That is why I have challenged the DBM to tell us which items can be covered by the for later release classification, so that we will know that these are the funds which were inserted by the legislators so that it can fund pork barrel projects.
Senator, in your opinion, kasama po ba dyan yung mga akap, since that's been quite controversial, na pwede raw gamitin ng mga tatakbo for election purposes?
Pwede kasama, pero hindi natin alam with certainty. Kasi hindi natin nakita, we do not see where these funds went. It is there, but you have to have staff and the access that the DBM has in order to see where these available funds are. And it is their duty to tell us, the public, kung saan po nila, which items were incorporated, which are clearly pork barrel insertions, and therefore must be exposed to the public because they said that the for later release mechanism is there in the veto message. Yes, it might be there in the veto message that allows for later release practice, but the implementation is certainly a challenge because we do not know which items were funded by the practice of transferring to unprogrammed activities, the program activities, projects, which are certain to be funded.
So just to make it clear, Senator, yung 700 billion plus na sinasabi nyo, all of these are unprogrammed funds, and you're mentioning na for later release mechanism, we could indicate if the President will accept this, pwede na sabihin after the election season, doon ang dates na gagamitin ito.
That is correct. 731.4 in 2024 and 2025. In 2025, the item is 347 billion transferred to their program fund. In 2024, it was 449 billion. I repeat, in 2024, 449 billion were moved to the unprogrammed activities and unprogrammed funds, and 2025, 347 billion, or a total of over 731.4 billion, which were available for pork barrel insertions. What are these pork barrel insertions? We do not know. That is why I have challenged them, mark these items as FLR or for later release, because DM knows what are these items which were increased and incorporated by amendment of the legislators.
But Senator, you actually also tagged the vetoing of President Marcos on the 168 billion pesos worth of unprogrammed funds as, quote, sabi niyo po, cosmetic. Can you elaborate more on that, Senator?
Well, you cannot make a big fuss out of vetoing the unprogrammed funds because unprogrammed activities and unprogrammed funds means that you can only use those items of appropriation if there is an excess of collection in taxes, if there are new sources of revenue, or if there are new loans secured. In other words, these are standby authority. So that means nothing. When you veto, even if you do not veto this, if there are no excess funds or new taxes or new loans, baliwala po ito. It can never be used. But what they did was to move items which are funded to the unprogrammed portion of the budget so that there is enough money in order to fund the pork barrel, which is now in the programmed activities.
Yes, Senator, also some other former lawmakers and economists were saying that if you should take a look at now the DPWH itself, a lot of pork may possibly go to these projects, especially in areas located where a lot of these congressmen daw are running na pwedeng wag daw magulat, baka maglabasan daw mga poster nila pag may ginagawang kalye or may ginagawang tulay. Ano po ang comment niyo dito, Senator?
Tama po yan. The bulk of the pork barrel is in the DPWH. There were a lot of amendments and insertions in the budget of the DPWH. But hindi po makikita ito eh. Nakakalat ito sa buong bansa. Kaya hindi mo malaman kung isang proyekto ay congressional insertion or pork barrel or regular item. It is extremely difficult if it is being released, especially if it's released before the prohibited period. Pork barrel. That is why I am challenging the DBM to publish which of these items are under the classification of for later release if they are saying that the budget message of the president authorizes this delay in the releases.
All right, well, we will await if PBBM will do heed your call, sir, for the for later release proposal, mechanism. But for now, thank you very much for your time and for joining us here on Brunch. That was former Senate President Frank Drilon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Sir. All right, yun, DBM.
Yan na. May mga challenges na for 2025.
Yes, let's see. But let's move on to the next. Arriving at the fourth spot, the Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, has confirmed the identity of the overseas Filipino worker found dead in Kuwait after being missing for 2 months. Daphne Nakalaban, who had been working in Kuwait for 5 years, was discovered in an advanced state of decomposition on New Year's Eve. The DMW said her employer informed authorities that Nakalaban had left their home in October, which was the last time her family was able to make contact with her. A thorough investigation is now underway. And this comes after the issue also with supposedly a Filipina maid who murdered the Kuwaiti child. Oo, nilang nilagay daw sa washing machine. So several issues now that are hounding our kababayans sa Kuwait. I think way before there was also another issue then yung isa pang OFW na napatay sa Kuwait area, no?
Actually, since 2018, I believe may ilang issues na rin or instances na maraming namatay na OFW and it even led to a deployment ban.
Yes, oo.
Pero eventually, parang na-lift din siya after talks. Pero it's very concerning kasi this particular OFW, si Ma'am Nakalaban, 2 months 2 months bago nahanap yung kanyang katawan. At hindi pa malinaw ano ba yung sanhi o yung dahilan ng pagpatay sa kanya. But her employers, yung intent nandun no, para itago because nga 2 months before she was found.
Parang advanced state of decomposition. So they're trying to date back sa forensics whether the moment she was declared missing. That's the key word declared. Kasi hindi mo alam if she was missing ahead of time.
Yes.
Declared missing was around the same time period na possibly namatay siya.
Yes.
Because if totoo ang sinasabi nila, makikita mo naman through the forensics analysis of the body if nagsasabi ng totoo yung mga yung amo niya. Because we all know there have been issues among OFWs and yung mga kababayan natin na nasasaktan sila. Ako, a former kasambahay namin who works in Kuwait has asked for help a number of times because pinagsasampal siya, pinukulong siya. So, this is a long-standing issue.
Oo. And actually, itong in the case of si Nakalabad, yung nag-turnover dun sa employer, yung pinakakapatid mismo nung hinihinalang suspect. So, parang kasi siguro na-guilty na, no? Na yung kapatid niya may tinatagong katawan pala dun sa bahay. So it led to authorities discovering her body after 2 months.
After 2 months,
After 2 months pa yan ng paghahanap sa kanya. So nakakalungkot talaga. You were talking earlier about yung mga experiences, yung mga plight nga ng mga OFW sa Kuwait. I remember meron pang isang instance, pinatay daw ng employer dahil sa selos, parang jealousy.
Wow.
So, yung isa nilagay pa sa freezer. So, very, very morbid, very extreme conditions talaga para sa mga OFW natin.
Kaya, di ba, yung...
Hopefully, brought to justice din yung gumawa nito.
Kasi di ba, remember the issue long time ago na pinag-usapan is apparently when they go there at hihingi nila yung passport and travel documents and identification. Parang ang mindset kasi ng mga Kuwaiti or in that area at least, they have ownership like slaves over the people who work for them. It's an ownership thing. So that's why for a while, di ba, we were the DFA, I think, or yung Department of Migrant Workers was saying, dapat hindi mo tina-turn over yung passport. So when you arrive dapat sa airport, I think they were trying to do that. When you arrive sa airport, you leave your travel documents if you want.
With the embassy ba?
With the embassy. Tapos kukunin nila at sila magtatago.
Okay. All right, let's move on with our countdown. On to our top 3 story, Vice President Sara Duterte is facing a possible 4th impeachment complaint. House Secretary General Reginald Velasco said the complaint is expected to be filed next week. Velasco did not disclose the names of lawmakers endorsing it, but mentioned they are from the majority bloc. At least 103 votes are needed in the House to fast-track the impeachment process to the Senate. Meantime, the previous 3 complaints remain under Velasco's office, pending verification before submission to the House Speaker.
It was given to me in confidence, so I cannot reveal their names until they actually file the 4th complaint. If they file it on Monday, I will have to make a decision whether I will then refer it to the Speaker or delay it further, no? Because, again, I'll refer this to the legal department for study if there will be a 4th complaint.
Yan, so 4 na. Yung impeachment complaint, possible 4th impeachment complaint for Vice President Sara Duterte. Pero sinabi naman niya, no, she's ready to face them. In fact, yung kanyang tatay na si former President Rodrigo Duterte will even represent her daw sa mga complaint na haharap.
Yeah, that's sabi nila that's a political move. Kasi may following pa rin si PRRD. So if they see a father defending his daughter and a beloved former president to many, baka a lot of the senators who are still on the fence will probably vote in their favor. Plus, let's see what happens. I think January 13 ba, Pauline, yung rally ng iglesia?
Ng iglesia. Oo nga, oo.
Sabi ng iglesia, sabi nila, it's a pro-BBM rally daw with these calls for not to impeach. So parang medyo confused ang iba tao. Kasi pro-BBM rally, pero anti-impeachment. So we will see if this puts pressure, which is not supposed to our lawmakers to see kung matatransmit ba ito sa Senado. Because when session opens ata yung sa Congress, if they get 103 or 106 votes, di ba sabi ni Ronald Llamas sa Safe House natin, baka makakuha ng 103, 106. Lalo na with this 4th one here. Automatic transmittal sa Senate.
Pero akala akala ko ba kulang na yung panahon para sa impeachment?
Kulang ang panahon.
Pero may nagpa-file pa rin.
Hindi, correct ka. Kulang ang panahon kung dadaanin mo pa ang
Normal
sa
justice.
Committee on Justice because you have to consolidate the 4 complaints. When you consolidate that, pag-uusapan nila at the committee level, idadalhin pa sa plenary. But sabi
Kung
nga,
yung mas mabilis na option.
while tackling it sa Committee on Justice, may 106 votes, 103, Senate na, trial.
Pero may panahon pa ang Senate also to
Nasa sa kanila
hold
yun.
the trial on this. Kasi alam natin,
If they want
election
to.
season, di ba?
Oo.
Parang there are only 20-something days. Alam ko, before magbe-break na naman ang Congress for the campaign period. So,
Yan ang key because ang key is sa Senate because a lot of the congressmen are running unopposed. So medyo hindi sila, they're not really find importance about the southern vote. Not all of them are from the south. Diba? So yung votes from Duterte country will not affect them if you're from the north. Diba? Ang key dito yung Senado because Senate, they're individual institutions, 24 of them. They rely on votes from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao.
Correct.
And we all know si PRRD has a hold on Davao City.
Tama yan. Okay, so tingnan natin how this will be unfolding. Pero for now, mag-brunch break muna tayo.
Don't go away because we're not done. Naghang ako doon. May dalawa pa tayo. Ako pala yun.
Alright.
May dalawa pa. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching Brunch here on One News. And of course, since it's a Friday, Pauline, we are joined by Buddha's Belly Group.
Ang sarap. Natikman ko na. Hindi ko na napigilan. Tumikim na ako nung commercial
At least parang
break.
pareho kayo ni Angel talagang kakain talaga.
Hindi tayo hindi sa
good yan.
food.
Kasi we have the yang chow fried rice. That's what you're eating, no? And then you
Yes,
tried
I
the
tried
siomai.
the siomai.
Siomai and there's hakaw. And I think this is parang a bulalo soup or ano.
Mamaya.
Oo.
Titikman naman natin yan.
All right, let's move on to the next. Now, placing second on our countdown is the total ban on all Philippine offshore gaming operators, or POGOs, which took effect on January 1. In response, the Presidential Anti-Organized Crime Commission, or PAOC, has stepped up its efforts to dismantle small-scale POGO operations. PAOC is also working closely with LGUs to identify illegal operations.
Meron po tayo rito sa parting north, then meron po tayo sa area po ng Calabarzon at Mimaropa, no? Including po yung Visayas. Sila nga po ay nagkukubli ngayon. Kundi sa mga hotels po, sa mga resort na doon po sa mga area. At pati nga ho yung mga gated subdivisions.
Ito na yung sinasabi natin, na breakout groups sa mga Pinoy. But sabi, when we spoke to PAOC long time ago, a few weeks ago, sinasabi niya na it's still handled daw by some of the Chinese operators, yung mga leaders ng POGO rings, na illegal POGO rings. After they dismantled, kinuha yung mga gamit, that's nag-set up shop north, Metro Manila, 'di ba? So small scale operations. Napansin mo? Nawala ang scam for a while, na mainit ang POGO, tapos
Ay, oo nga.
bumabalik na nga na naman ngayon.
May mga natatanggap na tayo ulit ng mga messages.
That's them.
Pero what's alarming about these small-scale POGOs, yung mga guerrilla POGOs nga na tawag sa kanila, they're masking themselves also as BPOs.
And they have that, di ba, text kasama sa logo eh. Kunyari, bangko, BDO. BDO ang nakalagay sa text.
So, very alarming. Pero, I know the government also urged citizens to do their part, diba, and report itong if you suspect mga suspicious activities in your building. Kasi mahirap na hanapin yung mga maliliit na POGO ngayon since they're in smaller spaces.
Parang apartments pa nga daw iba eh.
Condo. Dati kasi, ektaryang mga properties, diba? Pwede mong ma-identify sa mga Pampanga, ganyan. Pero ngayon, if they're hiding in smaller buildings, it would be more challenging.
Yeah, kasi isipin mo, one POGO daw can have as much as 20 breakout groups that took out some of the equipments, tapos nagkanya-kanya silang, which is maliliit na factions, which is hard to discover. At napansin mo daw, they're getting creative. Kasi dati, it's as simple as saying, don't click the link, or BPOs will, banks will never ask for information on the phone. Now, they're getting creative with adjusting. Sometimes, the actual message has the logo of the actual bank.
Well, actually, ako na-experience ko rin yan.
Nakausap mo?
Hindi, yung nakatanggap ako ng text message from the bank itself and hindi siya number, hindi siya unknown contact.
Nakalagay
It's
name.
letters Oo, the name of the bank. Tapos may nakalagay doon na press this yung account mo. So, alam mo naman minsan pag nagmamadali ka, so, diba? Naklik ko yung link, sabi ko, oh my gosh, so, pero in-exit ko naman agad.
Mas lalo na yung messaging nila, you have to click it now because yung account mo may
yes, parang gagawin nilang alarming yung situation for you.
So ikaw naman, nagpanic ka, wait, I have to look at this.
Yes, kasi yung sender nga is also from the official bank.
Oo.
At di ba yung inbox naman natin, how it works, may thread na yan
May thread na yan.
And it's the same thread from the bank. Pero apparently, scammer na pala yung nakapasok na message. So,
parang they have a machine that can attach or clone daw the details of the original bank. So nakakatakot. Basta if it's too good to be true, hindi kayo sumali sa mga raffle or or
and don't click links.
Don't click links, don't give out information. If they call you, they should know their info already. Yung ano po dito, birth nyo, huwag nyo na ibigay yan. Alright, let's move on to the next.
Our top story for today is the alleged Chinese underwater drone found in Masbate. Here's that report.
On December 30, fishermen discovered the floating drone off the coast of Barangay Iniwaran, San Pascual, Masbate. They reported seeing a large yellow device floating in the water, which at first appeared to be a rocket. Upon delivering it to the police, authorities discovered that it was a type of underwater drone. The drone was later confirmed to be an HY-119 model, with Chinese markings found on several parts. This led police to believe it originated from China. According to authorities, this type of underwater drone is typically used for communications, underwater surveillance, oceanographic research, and other naval operations. The device also features frequency hopping capability, making it difficult to detect or intercept. The Philippine National Police has handed over the drone to the Philippine Navy for further examination. Meantime, the Armed Forces of the Philippines confirmed the turnover. The AFP also stressed the necessity of cooperation among fishermen and other sectors to monitor the waters and prevent unauthorized activities in our territory. The military committed to staying vigilant and mobilizing all necessary resources to address similar situations. No statement has yet been released by the Chinese embassy regarding the recovered underwater drone. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
We have to be careful about this kasi they'll take a look if it's really from the PLA, People's Liberation Army. Because we were saying that other groups in like the triads, or they've been using drones to transport or to further their drug trade. But let's see, I think naman they're taking a look at this issue closely. But before we release any statement, they want to be sure daw.
Oo naman. Pero based on reports, itong underwater drone, very high-tech daw kasi it can alter its buoyancy, it can dive and surface. So,
pag ganyan, who can fund something like that? It's just the army itself.
Yun,
baka,
diba?
Ang issue dyan is how long have they been doing this? How long have drones and how many more drones are out there?
And if it's really being used for surveillance.
Yes, for surveillance and other, you're talking about underwater pa lang. Paano yung mga drones sa sky? Kasi we're not really fully equipped yet to monitor the entire area. So yan ang mga titignan daw nila.
Pero so far sa Masbate ito,
Masbate, nahanap daw ng fishermen. Isipin, buti hindi nila kinilo at binenta.
Oo nga, ano rin yan, bakal din yan.
Bakal din yan, Ay, ako, daming issue pinag-usapan today. Grabe, umabot tayo ng Friday. Thank you everyone.
First, ayun, di ba sabi ko kanina, first Friday of the year. So hopefully everyone can have a great weekend. Expect na rin natin yung mga pabalik na mga biyahero from
Ay, nako, Sunday.
This weekend. Naasahan, maging puno yung PITX.
Kanina kasi wala naman traffic
Wala pa.
Pero Monday, back to school, back to work everyone, back to reality everyone.
Back to reality.
Kayad-kaya doon sa mga perang na ubos during the Christmas season.
Kailangan natin yan.
Tsaka sabi ni Doc Dex, New Year, new me. Workout time na, workout. Oy, thank you pala sa Buddha's Belly for sending over the goodies. Yung mga viewers natin, sila Ralph Domingo, some Pokemon Go, Mother Earth. And by the way, I forgot tuloy, senior moment.
Alin?
Hi pala to Angel, get well. See you
Get well soon,
get well
of course.
Soon. Ikaw?
Ate Angela, alin?
Si Andre.
Si Andre, get well soon na rin.
Nako, si Andre din.
May sakit.
Ay, nako.
Ganun naman talaga pag holidays, di ba? Sa daming get-togethers, nagkakahawaan na rin. Pero hopefully everyone can feel better soon.
Yes. And with that, thank you for joining us. We'll see you again. But that wraps up today's episode of Brunch.
Join them again on Monday. I'm Pauline Verzosa.
And I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
All sides, all the time.